If you're a small business owner, entrepreneur, or coach, here's why starting a podcast should be a non-negotiable part of your marketing. The market has changed. We all feel it. Buying cycles are longer. Trust is at an all-time low. And the competition for attention is getting fiercer every day. But here's the thing. People still buy. There are things they need, and there are things that they will just want. The difference is that people will buy from people that they know, like, and trust. Stick with me because by the end of this video, I'm going to share a side of podcasting that people don't usually talk about, which, if you're a business owner, will definitely be of interest to you.
It's time to reinvent.
The trust shift. Let's start with the big picture. Trust is at an all-time low, especially in the online space. Not only do we have cybersecurity crimes at an all-time high, scamming at an all-time high, paid ads used to work very well. But consumers are skeptical now. They've seen it all. They've seen the amazing videos with the great copy, hooks that draw them in and promise them the world. And after they've paid, been really let down. People are just tired of marketing in general. Not to mention the shifts in the economies. People are aware of how they spend their money, and they want to make sure that they're spending their money well. This is the situation. But people do still buy. People will always buy, no matter what the economy is like. They'll buy things they need, they'll buy things they want, but they'll buy from people they know and trust. So back to that. People are spending money just differently. Okay, it used to be that if you could get attention, which is the paid ads, the quick exposure, that was good enough. Today, you need attention and you need trust. Attention and trust is the new currency, not one or the other, both. So if you've ever noticed how your favorite celebrities, CEOs, and entrepreneur influencers all have podcasts now, when you see these things, you ask yourself why. These people are already recognizable. They're famous. People already know who they are. Why are they getting into long-form content? Because long-form content builds trust. It's not enough to be recognizable. People need a connection. Long-form creates a deeper connection than short-form content. And I have nothing against short-form content. The TikTok versus YouTube and Meta, Instagram, and Facebook Reels versus TikTok. The verdict is out. People love short-form videos. It's a great way to get attention. But remember, attention and trust is what you need for people to buy because people are just buying differently. And here's the kicker. If the busiest people on the planet are making time to create this type of long-form content, who are you not to? Who are you not to? Okay, read the seasons. 3 major advantages of podcasting that people don't often talk about. Let's get into the real benefits of podcasting. Yes, podcasting is great for marketing and building your personal brand. But done strategically, podcasting gives you access, networking with the right people. Think about it. Who do you need access to? Whether it's your ideal clients, high-level partners, industry leaders. Instead of cold calling or emailing, pitching a CEO and getting ignored, invite them to be a guest on your podcast. This totally flips the dynamic. You get to serve your way to access. Everybody right now is looking for ways to grow their personal brand. I think if personal branding was a thing a year ago, 3 years ago, I was talking about this with my fellow podcasting friend. Right now, it's personal branding on steroids. It used to be like the influencer has a personal brand. Now you see the CEO of Microsoft, athletes, you see everyone who already has notoriety, recognizability, familiarity, putting in the work to build up their personal brand. They know something. What do they know? They know that right now, attention and trust is where it's at. This works perfectly in both ways. Creating your own podcast, the marketing channel for your business, as well as using it to be able to get access to your ideal clients. You get to build relationships with key players in your industry. You establish authority by being seen with these experts. So it's not only them leveraging your platform, it's you also gaining authority because proximity is like an informal referral. People assume that because they've seen you with someone, it must say something about you. In the same way that for a guest, having you spotlight them on your podcast, it says something about them. So this is a win-win solution for everyone, which is why if you have people that you're trying to reach, especially if you're doing high ticket sales, you have people that you're trying to reach that you have no way of reaching because people are tired of the cold emails, the cold friend requests, people being in their DMs and not really bringing them anything of value besides trying to make a sale. Invite them on your podcast. And if they share the episode, this is instant exposure to their network or to their audience. And podcasting creates proximity, and proximity creates opportunity. This is the side of podcasting that people don't talk about. The second part is that you can build your brand, credibility, and thought leadership through podcasting. It's one thing to post on social media, which is great. You gain visibility, but we remember thought leaders who speak. How often do you remember a post, an image, worse, a portrait of someone? How often do you remember those things? But how often do you remember the things that someone said? We remember thought leaders who speak. Think about that, the way in which we process information. When you talk about building a brand, this is a huge opportunity. And I'm not really talking about your business brand, because the truth is your business might evolve, you might pivot, it might even fail. How you express your message might take different forms in business, but the mission often stays the same. Build your brand around your mission. Your podcast isn't just about content. It's an opportunity to create a legacy body of work. The podcast lets you establish yourself as an expert. It helps you to build credibility over time. If you have a platform that grows with you, it also opens you up to so many more opportunities outside of your business. So this isn't just marketing, it's about positioning yourself as a leader in your space. Thirdly, starting a podcast gives you media power, where you can sell around the clock and sell around the globe. And when I say sell, I'm not necessarily meaning like your product or your service. I'm also saying sell yourself. There's so many opportunities for entrepreneurs to be speakers, thought leaders. If you write a book, there's so many other opportunities that will really elevate and propel your business to the next level that have nothing to do with directly selling your product or your service. A podcast is more than a show. Every episode is an opportunity for you to sell without selling. And if you're thinking, but I'm not a big name like Joe Rogan or Patrick Bet-David, good news, you don't have to be. Your podcast isn't for everyone. It's for the right people. Thinking of the right targeting. Who is it that you want this to get in front of? Speaking of Patrick Bet-David, I really admire the work that he's done in podcasting with the PBD podcast and Valuetainment. He has managed to not only gain attention, but remain relevant by leading social conversations. And what the podcast has done for him is, even though they don't necessarily talk about his business, it's elevated everything that he's done, his personal brand. And it's him sticking a flag in the ground through his podcast for his many businesses. And of course, this didn't happen overnight. It takes time. But if you're thinking strategically about building your podcast into media assets, I highly recommend Patrick Bet-David's book, Your Next 5 Moves. It's a phenomenal book. And it's not necessarily about podcasting, but it can be applied to crafting a podcast strategy. Whatever your end goal is, and like I said, think bigger than your business with the podcast. Think about your mission, about your core message, and think about how the podcast will elevate your business. It's in the title. What are the next 5 moves that you have planned for your podcast? Really thinking strategically about it. And I think it's a huge opportunity for any small business owner. The entry level is basically none. Anybody can start a podcast. Use it strategically to elevate your business, get access, connect with your ideal client, build trust, credibility, and authority in your industry, build media assets. The great thing about the time we're living in is all these things do not have gatekeepers. The only critical thing is, how resilient are you? Are you willing to stay in the game for long enough for you to be able to reap massive rewards? That's really the bigger question. Why start a podcast now? 464 million people listen to podcasts worldwide, and that number is still growing. There was a time a few years ago where it was like, what is podcasting? But people have grown to love podcasting, and the podcasting audience is unique. It's not a person whose algorithm has curated things for them to keep entertained while they flick through. It's a person who's window shopping for a solution. This is your window. So if you've been thinking about starting a podcast, this is your sign. Nothing is stopping you. If you're serious about business growth, you need more than just short form content. When I started podcasting, it was such a clunky process. There were so many bits and pieces. The editing took you forever. The finding guests took you forever. Even making clips took you forever. But there's been such an advancement in technology in the space that it doesn't take you long to do this. If you have a virtual assistant or if you're doing it yourself, it's easy to do. The most important thing is understanding why you're doing it and having a strategy as to what is it that you're hoping to accomplish through podcasting. If you found this valuable, like and subscribe. I share my ideas, frameworks, things to help you market your small business, as well as speaking to guests who help us to get into the weeds of the things that small business owners face. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you think about starting your podcast. Thank you for watching.